Hi there, welcome to the Peaceful Home. If you're new here, I'm Teresa Elling. I am a professional organizer, parenting coach, and homeschool mom of 6 graduated kids. I talk about all things home and family here on my channel. I would love it if you would subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Today is a collaboration with Jamie at Board or Bananas. It's Flipping Friday. And this is a day that we get to flip a project, whether it's something we've thrifted or something at home that needs a facelift. And today I am going to make a slipcover for this Ottoman. I thrifted this in a nearby town. Well, nearby is an hour away. And I saw it and the store was about to close. I asked the woman how much it was because there was no price tag. And she said 20 bucks. And then she said 15 if you take it right now. And I said, okay, I'll take it. Paid the money and then realized I'm in my little car. And how am I gonna get this home? Somehow I got it in my trunk. Directly across the street was a Home Depot. So I drove really slow, ran in, got straps and bungee cords and closed down the trunk and drove an hour home. And I would love, maybe someday I'll refinish this in leather or, a faux leather vinyl, because it's in pretty bad shape. But for now, I'm going to slipcover it. I had a table here. I made this table out of wood when we first moved into this house, and it was the perfect size. And I love it, but we now have little ones, grandchildren toddling around, tripping constantly, and we're all like grabbing the corners of the coffee table, setting up pillows, hoping no one gashes their head. So I just decided this would be a softer and better way to go. I'm going to use painter's drop cloth to do the slipcover, and this is so inexpensive. You can get it at the hardware store. You do want to get 100% cotton. And I wash it a couple of times, dry it in the dryer, kind of shrink it down. You also can bleach it. And bleaching it, soaking it overnight in bleach will give you a little bit lighter color. And so that it's kind of a, light beige, off-white. And I'm just gonna go through the steps of what I did to make a simple slipcover. And then I'm going to show you 3 different ways to style the same tray for Christmas. I cut this to size with about an extra 6 inches in length on each end so that I'd have plenty of room for the hem. I did basically like a box pleat, squaring off the corners, tucking the excess on the inside and pinning it. And I pinned it about halfway up and made it fairly loose so that I could gently pull up the corners to remove it for sewing. And then once I was sewing it, I then pulled in the corners a little tighter to meet. And I've got a photo in here somewhere that'll show you with arrows where I brought those in. Here it is. And I did lose some of my sewing footage, but I just stitched the lines all the way down and left a few inches at the bottom for that pleat. And then I put the slipcover back on, made sure my corners were all tight enough, and I trimmed the excess and gave myself just about 1.5 inches to do a double hem. This worked pretty well, and it seems to be snug enough. For tray option number 1, we're going to go silver and gold. And I'm going to start with some mercury glass that I've had on hand. I've had these for years. This is my only new one. I thrifted this in my haul a couple weeks ago, and I believe it was $1. So I'm gonna start with that one right in the center. The rest of these I've had. I love mercury glass. I purchased some. I've also made some. It's really fun to make. I'm just gonna put these votives around here. And the great thing about this particular project, you can really be haphazard about it. I'm going to use some ornaments. I had this up above my pantry for a while. I have a glass cloche and I just tipped it over, filled it with ornaments and pine cones, put a plate on it, flipped it back over. And you can do that with any colors and it's just so pretty. But I'm gonna basically do the same thing here and just kind of scatter everything in the tray. I'm going to put votives in each of these. And then I'm going to grab ornaments. I'm just choosing all the ones I have in silver or gold, glittered or not, and beginning to put them all around. And you really don't have to be too particular. I just only have 2 of these, so I probably won't put them right next to each other. I also have some pine cones that I did last night. I just simply dabbed the ends with a paintbrush dipped in glue and then sprinkle the glitter over the top. And you've got beautiful glistening pine cones. And the last thing is I got these beads and I love the color. Almost more of a champagne kind of gold. Very subdued, and these are really nice and heavy. They're just lovely. I thrifted these as well, and I'm just going to kind of wrap them around, let them kind of go around the votives and sink down in. We're gonna light these, and I'm going to put down a runner on the Ottoman, and we'll go take a look. So here is tray number 1. You can't go wrong with candles. I honestly feel the video isn't doing these justice. They look so pretty. Now, I may have chosen something different to go underneath, but I had to work with what I had. And I had this table runner that you can't really see on the video, but it has a little bit of silver glistening in it. So I thought it would be a good choice. Tray number 2 is specifically with kids in mind. I got the idea when my daughter Abby bought me Christmas Paddington. Now, she knows that I absolutely love Paddington Bear. One of my favorite teachers in 4th grade read us the Paddington books, and I have always eaten marmalade on my toast ever since. And she found this Christmas Paddington Bear for me. He's got this little plaid on his coat and his little rubber boots. He's just adorable. So that inspired me for this tray. So we're going to set Paddington up. I've got this little tree that I found. I thrifted this at a thrift store that was doing fill a bag for $5 of Christmas things. And I had mine almost all filled, and then I just shoved that down in the corner of the bag. So I'm going to set that tree on here. I've got a little crate that I got at Dollar Tree, and I have some pieces of an old cable knit sweater that I'm just going to tuck in here, only because I need some filler for this. And then I took 3 blocks and I wrapped them up so they look like little packages. So I'm just going to pop these in here, and we're going to put this crate on here for Paddington. And then the other thing I got at Dollar Tree, they have a bunch of these natural wood products. They have quite a few things in their crafting section. And so this cute little tray was only $1, and I decided to leave this one natural. And I've got a little mug, and for this video I'm going to use this, but if you were actually going to use this for small children, I would suggest getting a plastic cup. I cut a napkin down to size, and I went and raided the Play Kitchen for a couple of plastic chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to put those down right there. And then the next thing, if you saw my Christmas home tour, I have one of these stockings that I thrifted, and it is in my entryway, and I'm going to use one for Paddington. So I filled it with a little mouse ornament. I just cut the loop off the top. Same with the little nutcracker, cut the top off of it, and a candy cane. And I've got this cute little ho 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 sign. This was actually an ornament from Target as well. It had a string here and little wire areas for it to tie, and I just snipped those off with wire cutters. And then a little toy plane that I got for 98 cents in the Walmart craft bin. Let's go put this guy over on the ottoman. Okay, I am completely in love with this. It just turned out so cute. I think this would be a really fun thing for your kids to be able to take during quiet time or playtime and be able to play with the hot cocoa and cookies and the gifts and the toys, have Paddington open his stocking. That would just be so much fun. And then of course, train your children to put him back when they're finished. And if you're not familiar with Paddington, I'd encourage you to get the books. His tag says, "Please look after this bear," because he was found at a train station and he comes from deepest, darkest Peru. Tray number 3. If you saw my house video, then you already got a sneak peek and you know what this one looks like, because this is the one I landed with and the one that I'm keeping. This was a cable knit sweater that was headed to the Goodwill when I realized it could have a second life. So I used a little bit in Paddington's crate, and I'm putting some just kind of as the base, kind of tucking under the corners. I mentioned that Target this year had some really amazing finds, very inexpensive. I love these little houses. In the Target dollar spot, they had them made of white ceramic, of wood, and this is one in black metal. So this one's gonna go just kind of at an angle here. And then I'm gonna use these very natural looking faux pine branches. And there's some little white berries on these. Just gonna kind of lay them right in the front. And I'm gonna put another set here like that. Maybe a piece in the back. And then I'm going to add some white pine cones. Now, like the glitter ones, I took a regular pine cone and I poured paint into a shallow bowl. So it was only maybe 1/4 of an inch. And then I rolled the pine cones in the paint and dabbed the ends in, and you get this really pretty look. Now, these were done years ago with a different technique, so I've got some of those, and then a few of the ones that I did last night. The last step is to use some of these fairy lights. These are a silver wire with warm light. I'm gonna turn them on so I can kind of see where they're going. The other advantage of the sweater in the bottom is that I can hide the battery pack. These also have a timer, so tonight as it's beginning to get dark, I can go and flip the timer on and they'll be on for 4 hours and then off for the rest of the time until the following day, which is a really great feature. And for these, I'm just going to, I've tried before kind of laying them on top and they just kind of float, I think because of the wire. So it works a little bit better to actually wrap them around and have some sort of weight holding them down. So I'm going to wrap them around the pine cones. I'm going to push them down between the pine needles. And go around here so they catch on something. Looks good. I forgot to mention that under Paddington, I had a red plaid blanket. And for this, I've chosen a buffalo check and a white fur. I think this little house is so cute. It looks great from all 4 sides, and at night it's beautiful. These furs are actually available. This is December 2020. They are available at Costco right now on coupon, and they're only $15, and they're so pretty and amazingly soft. I wish you guys could feel this. It's just, oh, it's so silky. So here is tray number 3. I moved Paddington to another tray. I replaced the ceramic mug with a plastic one, and I removed the candy cane because that would not last. And I decided to put it over in my kids' corner, and it just looks so cute over there. I'm so glad I put that together. I really loved all three of these trays. Please comment below and tell me which one was your favorite. There are just infinite possibilities at Christmas. You really can't go wrong. So do what brings you joy. Do what is within your budget. I pray your home is filled with peace and joy during this holiday. Thank you so much for joining me on The Peaceful Home. Merry Christmas.